Here are 3 things that may fix issues for you whilst playing Fallout London. Number 1. Switch off weapon debris. Now, weapon debris is a very cool effect that causes debris when you shoot surfaces with a weapon. It looks great, it's kind of entertaining, it's also extremely crash prone. This is not specific to Fallout London either. This is a problem with the base Fallout 4 game. It does seem to vary depending on what graphics card you've got, and it does get worse on the higher qualities, but this is a notoriously buggy feature. I would highly recommend you switch it off for now. There is actually a mod that fixes the problem called Weapon Debris Crash Fix, and it works perfectly on the base game. I cannot say for sure whether or not it works in Fallout London, although my gut tells me it almost certainly will. However, I would recommend you run without weapon debris for a while. Make sure your game is stable before switching this back on and using that mod. Number 2. The official Fallout 4 high-resolution texture pack. Do not use it with Fallout London. It conflicts with some of their textures and you will get weird texture issues. The general consensus is that it's not worth using this in the normal game anyway, as the quality improvement is just not worth the performance hit. But I know many people have probably got this installed because they've got a system that can handle it easily and every little improvement helps. Now, you could try disabling it on the DLC part of the Steam properties for Fallout 4. However, you'll probably get a message telling you update failed if you've been sensible and disabled updates for this game. So that's not really going to fix the issue. One surefire way to fix this is to go along to the game's mods folder, that is the data folder under Fallout 4, and find all of the files that start with DLC Ultra High Resolution and simply delete them all. This will remove it, problem gone. However, if you are using these in another profile, you may want to keep them, so there is another solution. I'm going to simply select one file, the ESM, the master file. I'm going to drag it over here onto this panel in Vortex, which will create a mod out of that one single file. You can do this with a single folder or a single file, but you can't do it with multiple files, so I'm just doing the master file. It's now imported it. I'm going to install. It's going to create a mod archive. I want it to do that. Create the mod. And I now have the DLC Ultra High Resolution Master. I'm going to disable it for now, but I'm also going to go back to the data folder and I'm going to manually delete this now. Now it is gone. That will prevent these textures from loading, assuming you haven't done something daft and added these to the ini files. And on another profile, I could take this new mod, enable it, and after a second, there you go. I've got the master file back and those textures will be available. Obviously, I'm going to remember to disable it. It's that easy. You could make an archive out of all of the textures and the master file if you like, but that is a lot of files you've got to stuff into an archive and it will take quite some time. Getting rid of the master file should be enough to prevent these textures from loading. Number 3, Creation Club content. Yeah, Creation Club content can cause crashes in Fallout London. Big shock, Creation Club's still causing problems for us, but here you are. So this is an annoying one because Fallout 4 loads up any Creation content, any Creation Club content that you have in the data folder, whether it's free or stuff that you bought. If it's in the folder, the game will load it. There's no way to stop it. And in Fallout London, this can cause crashes. Now, as far as I know, this is a Steam-specific problem because they do not have this content over on GOG, so yay the GOG version again, I guess. And once again, the simple option is to select any files beginning with CC and simply deleting them. However, if for some reason you still want to keep these files for another profile, you can do something similar. You can make an archive out of all of these. Please note you cannot drag all of these over to this folder. Unfortunately, it can only do a single file or a single folder, as I mentioned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder here on my desktop. I'm going to rename this to Creation Club Content. You can call it whatever insulting name you want, and I'm sure some of you will. I'm going to double click to open that, and then I am going to simply cut this from the data folder and paste it over into this new folder. Once I'm in this new folder, I will now, I tell you what, just to make this slightly better, I'm going to create a data folder within here, and I'm going to drag and drop all of that into data. This will just make the folder structure better. Most mod managers would figure it out anyway. This is just playing on the safe side. And now I'm going to right click. I'm going to use 7-zip, which is the archive program I recommend everyone use. If you don't have this, you can find it online and download it. It's a really good program. I'm then going to go and add to archive. I'm going to call this archive Creation Club Content. I'm going to let it do its thing. And once it's finished, I'm going to simply drag this 7Z file to where it says drop files, and I now get Creation Club Content. I can hit install just to make sure this is working. And in a few seconds, I will see, there you go, all the Creation Club content is back. And of course, I definitely want to disable that for Fallout London. So I now have a Fallout data folder with no Creation Club content, and I've got no master file for this ultra high resolution texture pack. Believe it or not, these three things will probably fix a number of issues and crashes that some of you have been having. There is one other thing that I would highly recommend, although it is not critical. It really could help a lot with keeping Fallout London, and indeed Fallout 4 in general, a lot more stable, prevent crashes, fix a few bugs, etc. And that is the mod called Buffout 4. This is a mod that I pretty much use in every one of my load orders where it's possible to use it. I say that because it currently has not been updated for the next gen version. But for our purposes, for Fallout London, that's perfect. So I would highly recommend you download this to your mod manager. You will need the XSE plugin preloader as well. This is one of the requirements. Now, there is an NG version of this. Do not get that. I've not tried using that with the last gen version, but I'm going to guess that's a bad idea. You want to go down to the bottom here and get version 0.2.5.1. Download this to your mod manager. And you will also need the address library for F4 SE plugins. And again, there is an NG version of it, but you're going to want this version, 1.10.163, I believe. Let me just double check I'm giving you the correct information. Yes, 1.10.163. Installing these mods should be pretty easy on your mod manager. Address library and Buffout basically install as standard mods. The XSE plugin preloader, on the other hand, this does need to be loaded or installed as an engine injector. If you're using Vortex, set the mod type to engine injector. That makes sure that the files from this mod go into your game folder, not into the mods folder. So you'll find these here in the main game folder. Again, this is not one of the essential things, buff out, but I highly recommend it. It doesn't just make the game crash less, fix a few issues. It also has a very good debug log. So if you get a crash, you can submit it to the Folon team and they will have a better time figuring out what happened. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. 3 critically important things that you should do to help reduce the issues you have in Fallout London, along with 1 highly recommended thing that you should do as well for the exact same reason. I do hope this video helped, and I will see you next time. Until then, remember as always, have fun.